Excuse me. Great way to start. What's up, guys? We are live. I am still pretty new to this Streamlabs setup right here. As you can see, we got the fancy background instead of this just annoying white background that we had for a bit. The sound quality is much better. I'm able to use this stick mic. So point is, let me know if everything works. Hoping it's going to. We're also going to do something a little different than I did last time. Something, just an extra thing that who knows, this might go wrong, but hoping it doesn't. And that is playing the trailer. We're going to talk about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which, wow, I have some thoughts on. But I'm hoping that that sounds good too. Once again, let me know if everything works. I'm going to announce all this in just a second, but this is going to be on the Above and Batman Beyond podcast. Subscribe there if you don't already. We're on Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And of course, subscribe in the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Yeah. Oh, and we also have a what do I want to say? Oh, hello, El Collecto. All good. What up? You're saying the sound is all good. Hello, hello. Sorry, I got distracted. I just wanted to make sure I read that message okay. Still used to the Streamlabs. Glad it's working great. Forgot what I was saying before, but yeah, the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and then as you can see, we also have Michael Keaton up here, and we're going to talk about some Michael Keaton interviews. We are a DC show, so we have to talk about some DC news as well as this trailer reaction. I was just going to do a bonus episode at first, but then I thought, why not just do that? So, El Collecto, thank you so much for joining us. I'll let maybe another 10, 15 seconds, let some people filter in, and then we'll get started. Before El Collecto, we talk about the Spider-Man trailer because we're going to do that second. What do you think about the Michael Keaton interviews recently? The things that he's been saying about reprising his role as Batman / Bruce Wayne in the Flash, because that's what we're going to talk about first. Like I said, yeah, man. You know, this is a Batman Beyond show, so we have to talk about old Bruce Wayne, and super excited about these interviews. All right, so I think that's about enough time. All right, so I'm about to drop into the podcast. I don't have any set script or anything, but just to let you guys know, the following is going to be available once again on the podcast. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Welcome, Neo-Gothamites, to Above and Batman Beyond. I am your co-host, Benjamin David. We are live here on our YouTube channel of the same name. Subscribe. We actually just recently got a custom URL, so youtube.com/above and Batman Beyond. About time. You can get them after 100 subscribers, and we have over almost 400, so about time to do that. Again, we are live on our YouTube channel, so subscribe here, but also subscribe to the podcast. Of course, we are on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Today was going to be a bonus episode only because I had to talk about this Spider-Man No Way Home trailer for many reasons, one of which is that Batman Beyond and Spider-Man closely connected. It's a character based directly on Spider-Man, even though it's DC Marvel. But we also have some Michael Keaton interviews as well. So I'm like, all right, instead of just doing bonus stuff, we did have some Keaton stuff recently about The Flash. He did an interview on Fallon as well as THR. So we're going to talk about both of those up front. But brace yourselves because we're going to jump into Spider-Man No Way Home. And if you like that trailer, Benjamin's going to be ruthless. All right, so let us start with the Keaton interview. So first, Keaton was on Fallon. And just real quick, once again, this is the 2022 The Flash movie. As you can see here in this picture, what's his name? Ezra Miller returns as the Flash. Andy Muschietti is directing. He did the It movie, and he did some other stuff. So he is the director, and Michael Keaton is once again reprising his role, and Ben Affleck as well. So this is going to be the multiverse writ large, DC-wise. Really exciting stuff. You know, I haven't been this excited for a DC live-action movie in quite a while. I'm not going to lie. So let's check out this Fallon interview. And once again, let me know if sound works. All right, so set this up, got this going. Go, Michael Keaton. All right. This is once again Michael Keaton on Jimmy Fallon. And this is on August 19th, so really recent. Whoa. Sorry about this. All right, I'm going to turn up the volume for you. Just want to make sure you guys can hear everything. Oh. Actually, El Colecto, how is the volume? Let us know. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. Because I can hear it okay, so I'm assuming that you guys can. Sorry about the lag once again. It's because of the Streamlabs thing. Come on, baby. Haha. So I'll play that again. So again, I'm kind of new with this Streamlabs thing. Please let me know if you couldn't hear that. And for the podcast listeners, I'll make sure that that's loud enough on the audio. But yeah, if you couldn't hear Michael Keaton, Jimmy Fallon's like, "What's it like to get back in the suit?" And he just leans in. He's like riding a bike. So sweet. I mean, this is 1989, so you're talking 31 years later. The dude's coming back. He is 69 as of now. He was not here. El Colecto. Sorry, I haven't read much, but I did see that Michael Keaton is glad to give some kind of ending to his Batman. I never thought about his Batman needing an ending, but I do like that idea. I'm glad that we are going to listen to the interview, but there is no audio. Darn it. All right, so I'm going to work on that. That stinks because, I wonder why I couldn't get the audio to work. Well, I guess we're going to have to. So could you see the interview, El Colecto? Could you see the video playing? Just you couldn't hear it. But yeah, man. I mean, once again, El Colecto, we can't listen to the interview. I hear you, but not the video. Huh. But you saw the video? This is great for a podcast, by the way. No, this is good though, because I need someone to answer this. So this is perfect. So I just want to know, could you see the video as well? Audio. Oh, here we go. Audio input capture. How about video capture? Darn it. Huh. I can see the video but not listen to it. Darn it. Well, let's see. Video capture device. I'm wondering if I can mess with the volume right now. I don't see a place to do it, guys. Sorry about that. We're not going to be able to get sound on this, but I will guide you through it. I'm used to doing this kind of thing for audio anyway. So that once again was the Jimmy Fallon interview. He said, "What's it like?" And he said, "It's like riding a bike." Now, 31 years later, that's quite the bike, to be back on. But what gives me some confidence is that he has been acting, right? Like he's been doing stuff. So I think he's like he is back in the saddle acting wise. I would say I wouldn't have as much confidence if the guy wasn't doing other acting. But he's been acting. Like he was in, speaking of Spider-Man that we're about to talk about now, like he was, Spider-Man Homecoming. He did Birdman, which was very much based on a guy who, was this huge character back in the day and kind of has that shadow of the bat, literally. But let's go to his other interview here. So this is from THR. I love this one so much. And I like that Michael Keaton curses a lot because I'm from New Jersey and people who curse a lot are right up my alley. So they did this whole thing on his movie coming up called The Protege. That's what he was doing press for on Fallon as well. So I skipped down to the interview. It's not like in the very beginning, but if you scroll down a bunch, they talk in this one part about, even though he has appeared in films for both DC and Marvel in which he plays the villain Vulture in the Spider-Man series, Keaton was never a comic book fan, and he has been stunned by the genre's growth. He credits Burton with the industry's realization that superhero films cannot just be lucrative, but also artistically ambitious. And this is him, a quote from Keaton. What Tim did changed everything. Talking about Tim Burton. Everything you see now started with him. If you really think about what happened between 1989 and now, on a cultural, corporate, economic level, it's unbelievable. While Keaton is awed by the phenomenon, he confesses he doesn't totally get it. After the first Batman, I'm not sure I've seen an entire... So this part's really interesting. He said that he is... I'm not sure I've ever seen an entire comic book movie. I've just never gotten around to it. So you're talking to a guy who wasn't in the zeitgeist of that whole world. When I went down to the Marvel to do the Marvel things in Atlanta, it's an entire city dedicated to Marvel. So, you know, since '89, he has famously said that he hasn't watched a Batman movie since. But a lot of people question because it's like, you didn't watch the premiere of Returns, like you didn't watch the Spiderman Homecoming premiere, but you know, the guy just doesn't watch the movies. A lot of actors do that, right? But point is that this is a guy that also in a generation before a lot of fans were doing movies, right? It was not as much of a fan business as it is now. J.J. Abrams, huge fan of film, making superhero content, making Star Wars. You know, now we have fans making content. So it's cool though that Keaton in his older age has gone like, you know, maybe there is something to this, like not just that these, you know, Marvel movies are money machines, which they are, they just print money over there. It's also like, oh, these things really mean something to someone. And I was part of something that really meant something. So this is when it gets really good. He said he was impressed by the Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson, who is writing the new Flash movie. Again, this is the 2022 Flash movie directed by Andy Muschietti. Impressed by the script by Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson and by Muschietti's vision, he was intrigued by the possibility of returning to the character he had helped shape in the public imagination. So this is a quote from him. I love this. Here, let me highlight it. Frankly, in the back of my head, I had always thought, I bet I could go back and nail that motherfucker. Keaton says of Batman, a role he walked away from when he didn't like the script for the 1995 Joel Schumacher film Batman Forever, which ultimately starred Val Kilmer. And then this is the last quote we'll do. And so I thought, well, now that they're asking me, let me see if I can pull that off. So cool. Like, I love that it's not just a money grab for him. I love that he actually, and even if it was, I wouldn't blame the dude. But this is, once again, coming from a generation where I don't expect them to really care. And a lot of actors don't. They take these jobs, and I don't mind that either. Like, their job is not to be fans. That's our job as fans. But the fact that he's now, if not a fan, he's just taking it seriously, I'm loving that. So that's really exciting. And once again, to wrap this part up, and then again, we're going to do the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer reaction, even though apparently I couldn't get the sound, which actually is probably good for us because it's not good for like audio bites, because then they can go through your channel and take stuff down sound wise, but I do want to figure out sound. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, this whole thing with Keaton and the Flash, what's exciting for us as Beyond fans is that he's an older Batman, right? So he's going to be this mentor type character likely to the Flash is what everybody is assuming. And, you know, he's back as the Bat. We're assuming that he's back in the suit, you know, at least at some form of the suit. We saw pictures of the 89 Mobile, that gorgeous live action Batmobile, El Colecto. I wasn't a fan of Birds of Prey. Hope the story is better for the Flash. I wasn't a fan of Birds of Prey either, but I think Andy Muschietti is a good director. I'm not saying whoever directed, Birds of Prey wasn't. I just think that this movie, I don't know why. I just have a better feeling about this movie. Or maybe that's just my hope because it's a Batman, more of a Batman movie. But yeah, we were talking about that actually. We were talking about Birds of Prey on our DC Collecticast show. We actually just dropped the episode because there's McFarlane Harley Quinn Birds of Prey figure that they just dropped. And, I don't know. Or the pre-order just went up, one of those. She doesn't look like Harley Quinn in that movie. There's a lot to it that, I hope. But this, just from the set photos, it looks like they're going all the way with the comic book stuff. Whereas one of my biggest criticisms of Birds of Prey was I feel like I'm not watching a comic book movie. Like a lot of the DC EU, or at least post kind of Joker, I want to say. Joker was really well done. It was just, I'm not going to get into details on that, but that and some other DC movies is just like, are we watching a comic book movie or is this just something else? Yeah. So, but finally, again, back to the Batman Beyond thing. It's an older Batman, so who knows what that's going to mean for whatever mentor mentee type figure that we're going to have, be it the Flash, be it, you know, they're going to do a Batman Beyond movie at some point, as any smart Beyond fan knows. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if. So, yeah, who knows how this might factor into it. I kind of hope Keaton is not the old Bruce Wayne in this equation, but I am pumped to see kind of him as a similar role, serving again as the mentor-mentee, Beyond or not. Or actually, I'm hoping not Beyond. And then, yeah, Ben Affleck too. I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what's going on with that. All right, guys. So let's talk about Spider-Man. Now, this is, of course, a DC show. This is a DC animation show. This is a DC collectibles channel, right? But Spider-Man, as I mentioned before in the very beginning of this, Batman Beyond is directly related or directly inspired by Spider-Man. It, you know, you got the whole struggling to be a teenager and a superhero. You have so much of, you know, a lot of Jack Kirby 1960s Silver Age inspired stuff with Batman Beyond. You know the roots of Batman Beyond if you don't at this point. So Spider-Man's always something that kind of is worth talking about on our show. But this trailer, like, I am so confused by it that I had to react to it because I have to know what the hell's going on, and I really hope this stuff gets explained in the movie. So this is, let's hop on IMDb real quick, and then we'll hop on the trailer. Display, sorry, I'm still getting used to this stuff. That's why there's a lot of ums and ahs here. So let's get rid of that. We're back to display capture. IMDb. Here we go. Spider-Man. All right. Faster than I thought. So Spider-Man No Way Home, directed by John Watts, once again, who was directing the other ones. He's also going to be directing the Fan 4 movie coming up, the Fantastic Four movie coming up. And then who wrote the script? Chris McKenna wrote the script, it looks like. Yeah. Because it's saying, you know, writer Steve Ditko based on all, that's all the comic stuff, obviously. So written by, it looks like Chris McKenna and Eric Summers wrote the movie. And then give you a quick synopsis. We have Zendaya returning as Mary Jane, Tom Holland. Jon Favreau is back as Happy, and Marissa Tomei, of course, as Aunt May. For the first time in the cinematic history of Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood hero is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life from the high stakes of being a superhero. When he asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. Oh, God. All right, let's do it. I've delayed long enough here, guys. This trailer. So I'm going to kind of narrate because, again, apparently we can't get the audio to work. So it starts off with the two of them on the roof. I love their rapport, Mary Jane and Peter Parker. I think they did a really good job going all the way back to Homecoming. That was something in this universe I never really had much of a problem with. So then you have the J. Jonah Jameson thing of, you know, Spider-Man is in fact Peter Parker, and we're hearing his announcement of these things to the whole world. So, you know, follow up on the last movie that we saw, whatever that, I'm forgetting it right now, but Far From Home? Yes, Far From Home. So you're like, all right, you know, that was a decent, I thought too, epilogue of Iron Man, of the kind of the Iron Man story, their mentor-mentee story that they had. And, you know, whatever. So far, so good. So Zendaya, or sorry, Mary Jane's asking him, like, does it feel weird to be outed as Spider-Man? And they're walking through this crowd of press. How do you tell somebody you're Spider-Man? He's got that suit with the black two-tone that I absolutely love from the last movie. We're seeing Aunt May again, who is like 55 and looks absolutely incredible. Marissa Tomei. It's sweet seeing that. So here's where I am just like, I mean, Doctor Strange is in a winter coat, and then he's got the cape on behind that. Let me put the closed caption so you guys can see. I mean, what is going on here? And we don't know what's going on, so I'm not trying to judge it right away. But so, Peter, to what do I owe the pleasure? Yeah, and that's not a bad line either. He's like, Sarah, I was just looking for some help, and he's like, we saved half the universe together. I think we're beyond calling me sir. So far, so good. All right, then we get our joke about, you don't call me Steven. We'll stick to Mr. Strange, whatever, Doctor Strange. But this is where it's just, I was wondering if maybe you could make it so that no one ever knew that I was in fact Spider-Man. As Doctor Strange is just going like, yeah, maybe we can whip something up. And then, of course, we have, sorry, I'm forgetting this Asian dude's name in the Doctor Strange movie, but he's just like, I think his last name is Wong in real life. And he's going, dude, are you sure you want to be doing this? Like, really, the I wish this never happened thing that every childhood movie, I wish I was never born. Careful what you wish for. Like, for real? And then it's too dangerous. And he even flat out says, Doctor Strange, it's too dangerous. Don't cast that spell. Strange is standing there with a mug that says sake on it and goes, fine, I won't. And then winks at like the 18-year-old and it's just like, yeah, fuck it. The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker. Why are you doing this? Why? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. You're the Sorcerer Supreme. And then you let the 18, 19-year-old jump into the middle of your circle of spell and go, he's like, stop distracting me. I mean, what is this? What is happening? What am I watching? What just happened? You fucked everything up. That's what just happened. Are you the dumbest kid ever? You're supposed to be a science genius. I told you I was going to tear in on this thing. And then he's the Sorcerer Supreme. And he's just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do this. After the expert, intelligent Asian guy. This happens in every movie that is supposed to, this is a movie about ancient mysticism, Doctor Strange. First, you replace, the Asian with Tilda Swinton, the least Asian person ever. We all know that story. And there's more to it that I recently found out. But on top of that, you go, hey, experienced, intelligent Asian dude who's been doing this sorcerer shit for years. I'm going to ignore your advice, even though you're my right-hand man and you've been in all these movies so far. Yeah, we're good. Wink to the teenager. Like, what are you, are another teenager? I don't even know what to say. Like, what are you trying to be funny? But that's not funny to ruin. Like, so the joke that I posted this on Instagram. I was just like, this happens in every movie that's supposed to be about Asian shit. You either recast or don't listen to the expert, intelligent Asian person. And I go, these white people deserve their multiverse of madness if this is not addressed. Like, if Doctor Strange is not under some kind of spell or drunk and has a drinking problem or something, what the fuck just happened? Whew. And then they started explaining the multiverse. We tampered with the stability of space-time. You think? The multiverse is a concept about which we frighteningly know little. The problem is you trying to live two different lives. No, Doctor Strange. The problem is that you are an ex-surgeon, one of the best ever, now the Sorcerer Supreme, and you just created a multiverse and you're going to blame the teenager. Like, and why is Spider-Man so dumb in these movies? Like, this is the same thing of him putting on the glasses with what's his name? Like, I know he developed some of his tech in this, and he's not supposed to be like totally dumb, but he just acts, he's like bumbly or something. I don't. Be careful what you wish for, Parker. So having Doc Ock, the tentacles of that come out, and the grenade of, I think people were talking about is what is this is where I know very little about Spider-Man and Marvel. I shamefully never saw the third Spider-Man. I also never watched any of the Ultimate Spider-Man movies because I are amazing, whatever they were. I don't care. And I should like them now and probably get into them now. Again, especially because of Beyond, but also these movies. Anyway, Green Goblin, I think it's a Green Goblin grenade, and then that's obviously Doc Ock. I mean, that was cool. Hello, Peter. Alfred Molina returning. I mean, what's crazy about that is that those are Sony movies. Like, that is the craziest, best part of the entire trailer, is that we are truly now getting the multiverse. Speaking of multiverse, for the Flash, we were just talking about the Flash with all the Michael Keaton stuff. This is the Flash with, this is the multiverse of Marvel. We're also getting, technically we've already gotten the Marvel multiverse. Right now we're getting it with the What If show. I mean, that's truly seeing the multiverse on screen. El Collecto. I am excited to talk about Spider-Man. Terry is our Bat Peter, yes. Irresponsible Doctor Strange. It was all meant to happen. He knew that he was supposed to mess up and create this. Okay, another theory. Oh, I probably should have mentioned too. I haven't watched any theories about this. I listened to one podcast. I did hear someone say, like, what is this guy doing? He's the Sorcerer Supreme. Other than that, that's it. But I had also watched a trailer before that, and I had the same reaction. But El Collective saying it was all meant to happen. He knew that he was supposed to mess up and create this. Another theory is that he is a variant of Doctor Strange. Maybe I can come up with more excuses for it. Right, because now we have the thing with Loki, and I'm glad I'm open to this. But this was just my reaction. This is why I'm calling it a reaction. And why I said, if this gets explained, whatever. But if not, these white people deserve their multiverse of madness, because holy shit. So I guess this is similar to, so Doctor Strange, kind of like he couldn't give the answer to whatever it was in Infinity War, where he's like, there's, 4 million possibilities, but there's one way we do succeed. So there, 4 million ways we can fail. There's only one way. The idea is that, Iron Man then knew that one way, which was sacrificing, himself. He somehow knew that. In this case, Doctor Strange is able to see all the possibilities, right? So what? He was supposed to see, he knew that who was supposed to mess up? That Peter Parker was supposed to mess up? And then even if he did, why not prevent it? I'm just coming up with ideas. Okay. I'm listening. I'm all ears. Also, we have that theory. You mentioned the variant thing before with the Loki series. There's variants of people that represent, I'm assuming, each verse of the multiverse. I stopped watching Loki after like episode 3, so I'm a little out of it when it comes to that. Here, let me put back actually, I want to watch the trailer again, so we're going to jump back into it. But I don't know. I mean, if it is a Loki variant, right, so then Doctor Strange, that's not Doctor Strange himself. That's another drunk guy who's at the, what do they call that place? I was about to say Fortress of Solitude. It's the place in New York that Sanctum Sanctorum. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Where it's like Doctor Strange's lair. That's why it's all frozen over and he's drunk. So that's a variant of Doctor Strange who then, but man, if he's also able to create a multiverse, it's just, I could see why this is a teaser. I don't know why this is saying official trailer, but I'm glad when it first dropped, it was like a teaser because, and again, we're going to drop it one more time and then we're out of here. But like, I'm glad they called the first one a teaser because there's just not nearly enough to know what's going on, which I actually do like. Like, I'm not expecting to have the 3-act structure explained. In fact, I prefer trailers that don't do that. My other thing here, though, too, is once again, I didn't finish Loki. I didn't like, what's it called? WandaVision. I watched all that. I watched all Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really wasn't a fan of either. I also wasn't a fan of Black Widow. I don't think I'm alone in that. I didn't hate it, but it was like, whatever. So my point is that post Endgame, I just think Marvel's really fallen off, and I was hoping that this was kind of be our track back. Look, I hoping for the best. I just after all that, I have a lot less faith after these Marvel series and Black Widow. All right, Spider-Man No Way Home, and these titles. I mean, I think Suicide Squad has title problems. I like this joke up front about him hypnotizing females. Oh yes, my Spider Lord. Huh. So this is cool. I mean, J.K. Simmons coming back as both J. Jonah Jamesons or all three, whatever it is. That's the dude. I think Charlie Day is his name from what is that show? Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's a good question. Does any part of you feel relieved that this happened? That'll be an interesting, I think, tension in the movie. This whole thing about his identity and drama between Peter Parker and Mary Jane is like, are you relieved? Is this a stressor? That you don't have to hide or lie to people. Well, it doesn't look like he struggled with that for long because he went to a genie in a bottle. So I'm trying to go through his reasoning here. Let's see. Now everybody knows this about me, but this isn't about me. This is hurting a lot of people. Right, because it is that thing with superheroes of you're vulnerable, right? So the people around you can get hurt because people are going to come after you. So if he can reverse it. But once again, it's like, dude, all right, we've seen this kid in 4 movies at this point. We've seen him in Civil War, Homecoming, Far From Home, Infinity War, and so what? It's 5, 6 movies? I mean, you do the math, what I just counted there. The way he runs after him, like he just bumbles. He would be more confident at this point. I'm sorry. Like we met him, yes, when he was 16. Guys, Civil War was 5 years ago. That's when it came out, right? So that movie was shot 6+ years ago. He's like 20 something now. Why is he still? It's an annoying thing about him, I think. Oh, that's right. Mysterio was the one who revealed the identity. I was wondering if you could make it so that he never did. Again, the Asian guy. Look, I've been doing this shit my whole life. You might not want to cast that spell. Packs his bags and leave. And now you're going to go down in the basement like you're a weed smoking teenager and be like, fuck mom. That's not how the spell works, but you're more than welcome to jump into this ring of bullshit here while I conjure up an entire multiverse. I mean, I don't know, dude. I know it's a teaser. I just really need the context, I guess. Because these two seem so stupid. Oh. I like how he goes, the multiverse is something about which we know frighteningly little. Like you knew anything before? Like now you're an expert? You just fucked everything up. It's like the worst buddy cop movie ever. We get the Green Goblin grenade. Oh wow, that's literally in the trailer. Be careful what you wish for, Parker. It's just so corny. Like even if that is what happened, like let's say what El Collecto was saying is right, which yeah, that'll improve it. That he's a variant or that he knew this was going to happen, whatever it is. But like, be careful what you wish for. That's the lesson of this shit. Dude, you're like 25 movies into this universe. Hello, Peter. I mean, if this was like movie 3, I'd get it, but you're on like phase 6, dude. Quite honestly, what is it? Phase 4, phase 5? It's like, dude, I don't know. I think I would have a lot more faith if this was even 2 years ago. If this was not just because I think Endgame, because it was some kind of end that's it, or that the movies were better than the shows, or that they're unable to make shows. I am more than open. If I see a show that I like that they make, I will embrace it. I'm hoping for the best. In fact, I was getting not tired of the movies, but I was kind of like, oh, this is a good, like, I'm kind of relieved that we're getting something new. I love television. Like, it's one of my favorite. Um, I was very excited for the TV shows. I just haven't liked anything yet. You know, that doesn't mean, once again, that I think it's all going to be trash or whatever. Point is, once again, if I liked what they were doing so far, I think I'd be more excited about this, but I just have very little faith right now. El Collecto. It was all meant to happen. Another theory. Maybe I can. Okay, yeah, we read those before. So thank you, O Collecto, once again for hopping in on this. The effects look good. I'm most excited probably about the Alfred Molina thing. I mean, the fact that this is, once again, a cinematic multiverse. So like what's happening with the Flash of, it's from a completely different, not just multiverse within DC or within Marvel. This is from the old Sony movies. There was never any kind of crossover like this. People always said this will never happen. Like the Sonyverse is never going to cross over into Marvel. And I was always like, I'm not saying like, haha, I'm right. It's just, guys, it's literally a matter of money and a matter of time. I'm not saying we're going to see something big like a DC Marvel crossover anytime soon, but look, if enough billions go in either direction, I'm sure they'll think about that too. So yeah, man, I hope for the best. I have loved the Marvel movies up to Endgame. I'm open to more stuff. I just really am hoping that, our co-host here in the channel, Eli, said his concern is that with anything multiverse wise, that it's too much of a fallback. I'm hoping that they don't do that too, of just like, well, we can do dumb shit because it's the multiverse, and actually it only happened in that multiverse, or actually he's only a variant, so this Doctor Strange can do dumb stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but even in that case, it's kind of just seems to me at best like, oh, it's not really him, it's a mind control. It's similar to like the mind control thing. How many movies are we gonna get mind control, or it wasn't really him, it was some kind of imposter? And I just feel like we're at a point in comic book history, at a point in Marvel history where falling back on these kind of things just seems, for lack of a better term, too comic booky. Like, yeah, you could get away with that in 60s, 70s comic books. Like, this is film. And maybe that's a bad example because these are directly related, obviously based on comic books. But I just feel like Marvel has been a little lazy. I'm hoping that I've liked the Spider-Man movies for the most part. So, if they're as good as those, cool. But, I really was looking forward to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm not as much anymore. Not just after seeing this trailer, but just seeing what they kind of did with Loki and everything. Then again, that was a show. It was very talky, not a lot of action. Hoping that kind of stuff doesn't go into Doctor Strange. The other thing they kept saying was, as we're obviously seeing here, is that the Spider-Man movie is directly tying in with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is apparently supposed to be a horror movie, which I'm extra excited about. So I think that maybe that'll be like our true fresh start. Hoping for the best once again, but I just think this is kind of more the same of watered down, not as good, whatever you want to call it. Marvel not striking out, but just not at their best. But again, I haven't seen the movie. So maybe I should just speak for the shows. But yeah, man, that is it for, sorry once again about the audio. I'm going to try to figure that out. This is still a new step for me though, is getting at least the even video going. And I'm glad the video was able to play and you guys could see it. Again, for the audio podcast, I'm used to narrating stuff anyway. Also, it's better to narrate it because people don't know what the hell they're seeing if they're listening to an audio. But the other thing is that I think I mentioned this before, on YouTube, you're going to sometimes get those audio spiders and they can flag stuff, especially Marvel stuff. So maybe we're better off not playing audio at all. I don't want stuff to... I'm not so much worried about the demonetization, but getting flagged and stuff like that. We've gotten flagged. Numerous of our older videos got flagged. So got kind of annoyed with that. And yeah, man, Hit us up as always on Instagram. Let us know what you guys think of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer at Batman Beyond Media. Once again, this is going to be on the audio podcast Above and Batman Beyond. Subscribe there. We are on Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Subscribe to our other podcasts. We got DC Collecticast. We got DC Animated Movie Show. We just dropped a new episode of DC Collecticast. Our last episode of DC Animated Movie Show was on the Blue Beetle animated short. Our next episode is either going to be about Injustice or the new Catwoman Hunted movie that the news of that recently just dropped. So we're going to talk all about that at least at some point. And then, yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, youtube.com/above and Batman Beyond. Finally got that domain. And yeah, hit that notification bell. What's the other thing to do? Like the video. Yeah. Make friends with those thumbs up. Really helps us out. All right, guys.